Okay, Sheettal, you want
Yes.
maybe introduce yourself?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon from all around the world. I'm Sheettal Rayathatha, and I'm going to host today's this month's monthly storytelling meet. And I'm thankful to Eric for giving me this opportunity time and again. I'm a storyteller from almost 20 years now, and I call myself old school because nowadays people have just explored so much into storytelling, and so many different ways have come up, and it's just beyond the imagination. So, yes, I am very much old school when I started with grandmother storytelling, and I have explored a lot from that point. I have just recently launched my books. I've become an author as well. And today I'm here to host this session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, shall we all begin, Eric? So, good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to this meet of storytelling. It's always such a joy, to gather from people from different corners of the world, united by one simple yet powerful thing, and that is stories. Right? So, stories have been our oldest teachers, I would say, isn't it? So, long before we had classrooms, we had stories to pass on wisdom, to share courage, and to remind one another that we are not alone. So let's move on to the very first storyteller from Chennai, Lalita Thilak. So we'll be beginning with her, and she's sharing a personal journey um, in a story titled From Fear to Courage. So Lalita's story invites us to look at those moments when fear paralyzes us and the quiet strength that helps us move forward any which ways. So over to you, Lalita.
Thank you so much, Sheetal. I hope my audio is clear. Hello? I hope my audio is clear. Yeah, okay.
It's
Thank you
clear.
so
It's
much.
clear. Yes.
Hello, everybody. As Sheetal said, I'm Lalitha and I'm from Chennai. And I just want to move straight away into my story. I love telling stories. I primarily tell stories to children. I have my own program called Speak Through Stories, and I work with schools and libraries. And today I would like to share a personal experience story, a story very close to my heart. So here I go. Amma, I know you can do this. Remember, Amma, when I was in fourth standard, my tennis coach used to hug me from behind and touch me inappropriately. I did not even know I was uncomfortable. But Amma, you saw and you told me what was good touch and bad touch and asked me to maintain a distance. From that day onwards, Amma, I knew what was comfortable and what was not right. And today, Amma, I am not at all comfortable and I want you to solve this problem for me. Now, when my daughters were in third grade and first grade, I started taking them to the tennis park. They began their tennis classes. And yes, evenings were the time we really looked forward to. They returned from school, they used to quickly freshen up, and all three of us used to dash to the tennis park, which had become our second home. And why not? We did have our extended family there, the older aunties group, the younger aunties group, that is my group, the children's group, the walking uncle and aunties. So everybody knew each other and it was so much of fun, laughter, and good times. Oh, yes, the tennis park was our second home for the next 7 years. Now, as the years passed by, it was very difficult for me to accompany my daughters every day to the park, and they used to go all by themselves for their classes. It was perfectly all right because, of course, the park was a very safe space and we knew that they would be safe over there. My daughter elder one was in 10th standard. And that is when she started noticing that there was a boy who was sitting on the bench and who was staring at her. Now, after her classes, she used to go for a walk with her friends around the park. And as she was walking, she could sense that this boy used to sit every day and constantly stare at her. Now, she was not bothered by this, she just ignored it and left it. But yes, when she missed tennis classes for 3 days in a row and she went back to the park, all her friends came up to her and said, "Hey, Thiru asked for you." And my daughter was shocked. She's like, "Who? Thiru?" "Oh, your secret admirer, that boy who sits on the bench and he keeps staring at you." My daughter was surprised, but once again she just chose to ignore it, and her friends also left it that way. As the days passed by, my daughters came up with many incidents. They have this habit of coming and telling me everything at the end of the day. So one evening, they came and told me, "Amma, when I was in the chart shop eating chart, I saw this boy, Ma. He was looking at us." And the next evening, they used to say, "Amma, today he followed us till our street, Ma. He knows where our house is." A few days later, my daughter came back from school. She was really scared and she said, Amma, you know what? Today, when I was standing outside the gate, I saw that boy, Ma, that boy Thiru. He was staring at me. He followed me all the way to school, Ma. I am totally scared. Now, there was this one advice I constantly gave her right from the beginning to now. I said, "See, don't go near that boy. Just ignore him. As long as he's not coming near you and troubling you or talking to you, just ignore him and stay in safe space along with known people." Now, even now, when she said that at school this boy was spotted, I told her the same thing. I was a little bit scared, but again, I told her, okay, let's not get into trouble. Don't approach him, don't talk to him, just ignore him. So, my mantra was just ignore. My daughter was in her 10th grade and she used to study late into the night. She had her own room, and in her room, there was a balcony. And then she used to walk in the night and study, and sometimes she would step out in the balcony for a breath of fresh air. One morning, my daughter came to me and said, "Amma, do you know what? Every night, right? I study late in the night and sometimes I walk around and study. Every night between 10:30 and 11, this boy, Thiru, he's cycling in our street, Ma. I know it, Ma, because I just peeped out to see because there was a bell ringing. Tring, 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 the cycle bell I could hear. And when I stepped out for the breath of fresh air, I was so shocked, Amma. It was the same boy, Thiru. And it was really eerie, Amma. You know, every day, exactly between 10:30 and 11, this boy cycles. The noise of the bell ringing at intervals is very eerie. Sometimes he stands below the balcony, Amma, and he says, he talks to his friend loudly over the mobile phone and he says, "I'm not going to move from here till I see the girl." I am very scared, Amma. I was totally flabbergasted and even scared. But before I could open my mouth, my daughter said, Amma, please don't say just ignore. This has been happening for many days. I cannot ignore it anymore, Amma. I'm totally not comfortable. I am scared and I cannot focus on my studies. So now the entire responsibility fell on my shoulders. Now, all of you must be wondering where the father is, right? Okay, my husband, he is a very loving and responsible father. But somewhere my daughter knew that if he got to know about this matter, it would turn out into a very serious issue. And even I thought that this issue should not be blown up into a very major issue. So basically, we live in a joint family, a very conservative joint family. And what my daughter dreaded the most was if her grandparents and father got to know about this, they would become overprotective and they would stop her from going all by herself to the park because that was her only reprieve in between her studies. She just dreaded losing her freedom to just walk or cycle to the park in between her studies. And I too understood that. So now, my dear friends, it was my responsibility to make my daughter feel comfortable and safe. And well, do you think I was in all get set go mode? Of course not. I was even more scared and totally scared. Because we read about all these incidents in newspaper, we watch it in movies. But when it comes to our own daughter, what do we do? More than that, what spooked me was the incidents you read in the newspaper, right? The acid attacks, the knife attacks. When these boys are approached or when we reprimand them, how they come and attack when the girls are alone. So I was thinking about all this and I was getting more and more scared. First of all, we were going to do something without the family knowing. Second of all, how do I handle this boy? I thought, should I go and give him a stern warning? But again, I thought about the acid attack or the knife attack, or he might take it on my daughter when my daughter's alone. And then I thought, should I gather a group of people? But then what struck me the best idea was to go and talk to him in a very nice manner, to request him and make him understand and tell him in a very nice, polite way. Ah, I was so relieved. In fact, I practiced all my dialogues. I rehearsed my dialogues with my daughter the previous evening, night. And I told her, see, tomorrow evening when I come to the park, I'm going to speak to him like this, like this, like this. And she was like, more than happy that I was going to do something about this. Next evening, I went with my daughter to the park. Now, we were walking on one side of the park, and the other side of the park, my daughter pointed out this boy to me. I saw that he was there with two of his friends on the other side of the park. Now, when I saw him, he also noticed me because I was walking with my daughter. So, as he was walking, I was walking in the same direction to go and meet him. The moment he saw me approaching from the other side, he started turning and he went to the opposite direction. I noticed that, so even I turned and went to the opposite direction. And then again, he tried to turn. I just simply became furious. This little boy who was talking and scaring my daughter was actually trying to dodge me. I was so angry. I just ran right in the middle of the park, right through the badminton court. My friends who were playing badminton were so shocked. I went through the badminton court, ran and caught him near the gate. And yes, I spoke to him, and it was anything but gentle. I just shouted at him. And when I saw the fear in his eyes, that's when I became more courageous. I gave him a piece of my mind. I told him to stay away from my daughter, away from my street, and not to bother her anymore. And the boy was really shocked. And by then, a group of well wishers also gathered around the park, and they also told the boy and gave him a stern warning. And he simply scooted. Me, I was totally shocked at my own behavior. I was very rattled and I sat on the bench because I couldn't believe myself. What I had planned to do, I had planned to be so gentle and how I had become so courageous. Everybody came around me. They knew how rattled I was, and they were very nice. Of course, the park was my extended family, and they all reassured me that everything would be fine. But my moment of awakening came when my daughter hugged me and said, Amma, you are my hero. I awakened to the fact that I do have the courage within me to face any difficulty. And yes, this popular line from an advertisement came to my mind. Dar ke aage jeet hai. Victory always overcomes fear. Thank you.
That was superb, Lalita. And I would say that when it comes on our children, that courage comes naturally. Whatever we are as a person, but when it comes to our own children, you know, everything comes to the extreme, everything goes to the extreme, isn't it? So
Yes, yes.
sometimes it
Very
is also like we don't need to be loud, right? We want to talk, as you said, you wanted to talk calmly with that person, but yes, we get all these courage to talk with that person to make sure that everything goes right. Yes, over to
actually,
you,
when he
audience.
dodged me in the park, I mean, that was the moment I really lost it. And, I really had to give him a piece of my mind. I mean, he was a little fellow trying to dodge me, and I really lost it then. It is like,
That is amazing. Yes, over
thank
to
you.
you, audience. Yes, Alistair.
Thank you, Lalitha, for that lovely story. It's a wonderful thing to discover that you have courage, because I suppose it raises the question, where does courage come from? Certainly from overcoming fear, as you point out. There are some questions that the story raised for me. One of them is that it seemed that as you lost your fear, you instilled fear in the boy, uh, because he he was terrified of you, uh, and of course you became a hero in your daughter's eyes. Um, but for me, there are different traditions now in our modern world which seem um, to uh, to do violence to each other. One is the tradition of romantic love, which is clearly evident in your story, and the other, of course, is the tradition of fear and protection and personal safety, represented, I suppose, by the boy who is attracted to your daughter, who has become a stalker, which is quite a perhaps not something that the boy was anticipating. So how do we resolve? I guess that's really my question. How do we resolve these conflicting realities in our own lives? Thank you again for that lovely and thought-provoking story, Lily.
Thank you, Alistair. Thank you so much.
Hi, Alistair. To answer that, I mean, I don't have a clear answer, but I was also wondering, it's a lot of movies that promote that, at least from Indian movies. I know that stalking is somehow always presented and projected in these movies as a form of romantic love, which could lead to these kind of incidents, and they're really increasing in India. So maybe when we have movies of that sort, a critical approach to that would sort of help.
Yes, Anis, I agree with you, definitely.
And we could add to that a lot of popular music. I'm thinking of the very big hit song that I'm sure many people know. Every move you make, every breath you take, I'll be watching you. Why can't you see you belong to me? Right? And it's just basically stalking. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, anybody else would like to comment?
I don't think it's only in India. I mean, we in India see those movies a lot, but I think stalking is there everywhere. And yeah, when it comes to our children, we become the Durga. Like maybe I don't have daughters, but I'm still protective of my sons, and maybe I would have also behaved in the same way as Lalita did. But again, it's scary. It is very, very scary. In this, I mean, I think it was like this earlier also, but now it is more prominent because it's all over social media, everywhere. We get to know more, but I'm sure it has been happening earlier also. And it is very, very scary. I don't know what is the solution, like Ulster, you asked. No, I don't know what to do. It's just that we pray and be safe, protect our children.
And
That's
yes, we should also have a group of well-wishers. So I always say be in safe
yeah,
space, know
yes, and
people,
also, yeah, true.
not to
Well,
go places.
some kind of defense sports for girls, especially because in terms of acid attacks, I don't know. I've heard that more in India than anywhere else, but I know stalking is there everywhere. But these acid attacks, I don't know. For me,
Yeah,
it's more rampant in India, and because I also see girls here where I live in this part of the world right now. I live in Germany, where girls walk with pepper sprays, They are definitely, because they do have
Yes,
like
yes.
in terms of for defense, and also sports that that teach you how to defend yourself, and when so those kind of things, at least that helps in ensuring that you are safe, which is I think should be a must, sort of, life
It
skill
is
kind of.
happening in India. I think the girls are being equipped with that. Most girls are learning that.
Those are the only things you can think of, and
This
being
incident happened about 5 years back. So
mm,
when my daughter was in 10th grade. So I think, yeah, now it's even more like awareness is there and more caution.
mm,
Yes,
But yes,
Debs.
violence is also there because of social media, and you get all sorts of crazy incidents.
yeah. When pop culture promotes these kind of things, I think if we come down with a heavy hand and not watch, or those things should also add on.
Yes, Debjani.
Yeah. So, Lalita, this happened in Chennai, which is
Yes.
one of the metro cities, megapolis, you can say, of India. Then imagine what is happening inside the rural places of India. The scenario is really, really very scary. And especially if you are backed by any political uh, leaders or political support, then these stalkers or these boys, they have lots. They imagine that they have lots of powers. They are forced to imagine. They are compelled from this, their dadas, their goons, that you have lots of power. You can do anything. And so our girls there itself, because I am currently doing a work with one NGO, and they are working in the district level of West Bengal. And the scenario is really, really very, very alarming over there. So good that you had courage.
Yeah, and luckily this boy was just one small boy who was, nearby small town, uneducated boy. So it was okay. I guess I know we all have to be ready for anything, and we all have to have the courage to face everything.
Yes, Alistair.
I guess the missing for me is any a mention of the boys' parents or teachers. And it seems to me that in community, if we strive to have community, then we must engage the adults around an issue to find some sense of discussion, of understanding, of compassion, and how do we move from victimhood to acceptance?
Yes.
At that point of time, I really did not think from the boy's point of view. All I wanted was the safety of my daughter. So I really cannot answer this. And it was just me, my daughter, her safety. That is all. Yeah, it is a larger issue. You have to consider all angles, definitely.
So that's why her thought on talking calmly was the best, I believe.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes what happens at that tender age, the kids don't know, the children don't know what they are doing, right? Because they're just
Yes.
stepping into the teenagers and they're moving to young adults. So at that point, they are not aware, they don't even know if that is right or not. So when you talk
Yeah, and that is why I kept
calmly,
telling my daughter he might be an innocent admirer, just ignore, just ignore. But it went to a point that the just ignore did not work. So even
right.
I did not want to. That's why I didn't even tell my family because it would blow out of proportion. So I just thought I could handle it, and all's well that ends well. That's what.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, shall we move on to our next storyteller? So, our next storyteller is Dada Maheshwaranand from North Carolina. So, we are traveling across oceans. And the story is Erican. It's echoing.
There's some echo, but go ahead.
Okay. So the story what Dada Maheshwarananda is sharing is also overcoming fear, right? Another powerful personal experiential story. Over to you, Dadaji.
Yeah, you've got to turn on your mic.
It's February 16, 1986. I'm standing in Luneta Park, the largest park in Manila, Philippines. There are 1 million people there. Never in my life have I seen 1 million people all together. It's a sea of people stretching every inch of the park, covering all the streets leading to the park, the rooftops and windows of all the buildings overlooking the park. I've been working in the Philippines for 5 years with the Ananda Marga Yoga Association. I'm a monk. I teach yoga and meditation, and we help to organize social service projects, kindergarten schools in the slums, free medical clinics, camps in the villages, and when there's disasters, our disaster relief team goes there to help. I love my work. I love the people. I love the country. But there is a terrible, silent evil gripping the country. It's the dictator, President Ferdinand Marcos. The people of the Philippines say Marcos has 3 G's. The first letter G stands for guns. His police force and the military he controls absolutely. The second G stands for gold. In the following year, the Guinness Book of World Records will record Marcos as the greatest thief in history, having stolen between $5 and $10 billion from the country. The third G stands for goons, ruthless gangsters who during the 21 years of Marcos's rule have murdered 4,000 people and imprisoned 70,000 people, half of them tortured. He's all powerful. There's no way he can be removed. As for me, I'm safe. I'm a white American monk, but I know that if I or anyone in our organization says one word against the president, the organization will be banned immediately and all the foreigners like me will be deported. The 1 million people have come to this park because they are celebrating the moral victory of Cory Aquino. She's the widow of Ninoy Aquino, who was one of those 4,000 people murdered by Marcos's men. She ran a snap presidential election against Marcos. Marcos's men cheated. Soldiers came and physically stole ballot boxes. He printed extra ballots. 32 women who were in the computer counting hall for the election suddenly stood up and walked out. Fearing their lives, they told the journalists they were ordered to cheat. And still Marcos declared himself victorious. But these 1 million people have come now to celebrate Aquino's moral victory. I see the flags of members of Ananda Marga and activists, so I start weaving my way through the crowd to talk with my friends. But just when I get there, I'm stopped by another monk from our organization. Kriti Shivananda from India. At that time, he's considered probably one of the wisest and politically astute Dadas in our global organization. He says to me, "We have to do something." I said, "Yes, but what?" "We have to do 24 hours of kirtan chanting mantra." I look at him. He's serious? He thinks we can stop this corrupt dictator by chanting a mantra that means love is all there is? But I have to admit, I don't have any other solutions. So when the rally ends, I go back to the old house in the center of Manila that we were renting as our headquarters of Ananda Marga, and I called all our members and invited them to come on the following Saturday at noontime. We would dance and sing the mantra Bhavanam Kevalam in shifts for 24 hours. About 75 members came, and we began. It went something like this. Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam. It means love is all there is. We continued chanting. We didn't know what was happening at the same time elsewhere in Manila. After 3 hours of chanting, the defense minister of the Philippines, Juan Ponce Enrile, and the second in command of the military, General Fidel Ramos, together decided to quit the government. With a dozen rebel soldiers, they went to Army Camp Crame, which is also in the center of Manila. And they called a international press conference. They told the journalists from around the world, "We're quitting the government because the dictator is corrupt, and we're calling on other soldiers and leaders to join us." Only one Filipino journalist was present. June Keithley was with Radio Veritas owned by the Catholic Church. She went back to her station and she started with a continuous phone line to Camp Crame. She's the only voice telling the country what is happening. Our 75 Filipino members went there to support them, and we, who are foreigners, continued the chant. June Keithley, we're all listening to the radio, even while we're singing. She says suddenly, "A report has come that a column of tanks are proceeding north in Avenue Edsa to attack the rebel soldiers. Please, if you can, try to convince them to go back, to not attack." Cardinal Sin got on the radio. He's the head of the Catholic Church in the whole country. And he's pleading with citizens to go to the entrance of Camp Crame and create a non-violent shield around the camp. They ran en masse in front of these tanks. The tank officers ordered them to clear the road, and they refused. And they're arguing. And the soldiers on the tanks, they're ordered to kill the rebel soldiers, but they haven't been ordered to massacre innocent men, women, and children. Eventually, they turn around and go back to base. This goes on through the night. until midnight. Suddenly the radio goes silent. We learn later that soldiers have gone to the $1 million transmission tower of Radio Veritas and blown it up. June Keithley calls a former member of Ananda Marga who now owns a rock station. She says, "Can I come and broadcast from your station?" He said, "Yes, but don't tell anyone where you are." So he locked her in. She connected with the telephone to Camp Krame and announced the other telephone line for reports to call in. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's flipping their dials and they hear her voice again. She says, "Now we're bandit radio." We continue the chanting. At 5 o'clock in the morning now, suddenly she's back saying something terrible. Attack helicopters are coming and they're going to fly over the civilians and bomb the rebels, kill everyone, and end the revolution. All we can do now is pray. We continue chanting. 15 minutes later, she's back on the radio saying, "The helicopters didn't bomb. They landed. All the pilots of the Philippine Air Force, I repeat, all the pilots of the Philippine Air Force were aboard those helicopters. They landed to join the rebels." By noontime of Sunday, February 23rd, when our kirtan is ending, there's 500,000 people in the streets. The danger is over. And by another day and a half, Marcos, his family, and his cronies are fleeing the country aboard U.S. helicopters and jets. Why? Because his own military had completely abandoned him by that point. I'm in awe of what I've just seen. These courageous Filipino people, they created a term for this. They called it people power. They have overthrown a dictator with all the guns of his military, with all the gold of his stolen wealth, and all the goons of his ruthless gangsters, to flee for his life. I wonder, can this only happen in the Philippines? But in the following years, I read how people power has overthrown dictators in Haiti, in all the countries of Eastern Europe, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Bolivia, in Ecuador, in Ukraine, Georgia, Kyrgyzstan, in Egypt, Libya, Sudan, Yemen. It's now written in every political science textbook. It has to. People power as a nonviolent strategy. I also wonder if maybe chanting a mantra that means love is all there is can somehow have a positive effect too. The founder of Ananda Marga seemed to understand all this when he wrote Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar. The forces aligned against the revolutionaries have immense military power. In spite of this, the revolutionaries will achieve victory because moral and spiritual power is infinitely stronger than physical force. Namaskar. Thank you.
Wow, this was amazing. Thank you for sharing this.
Ramana, you can carry on.
Um, what a, what a, what do you say? What's the word? I mean, what I'm trying to say is this is a story that I'll never forget because of two reasons: the way you delivered it and the power of courage, and collective prayer. There's a collective chanting. Uh, so thank you for sharing this. And if it is not out of place to ask, may I request for a text of this what you just read so that I can share with others?
Of course. Who should I send it to?
Promila, PROMMM.
Put your email in the chat. I'll send it to
Okay,
you. No
sure.
problem. Anybody who like.
Thank
Yes, Alistair.
Dada, can you send the text to President Trump?
Put your name in the chat. No problem. Your email. Right.
You want me to send it to President Trump?
Oh, I'm sorry,
So
President
you didn't
Trump. I
understand?
missed
Yeah,
that.
that's what.
He doesn't need it. Everybody else needs it.
Do you think it will happen in the United States?
Invariably. I don't know when. Invariably. I am hopeful. I'm a hopeful man. And I'm still singing mantras.
Do you feel safer in North Carolina than you did in the Philippines?
I was told when I started this spiritual path that you're never alone or helpless. The force that guides the stars guides you too. I'm home and I'm safe and loved wherever I go in my life. So I feel fine here and I feel safe there.
Yes, anybody else? So even like I'm a healer, sir, and I have also noticed that when you pray in a group, that has a different power, and the prayers reach more people than when you do it alone. So of course, group chanting and group healing is something which people usually tell to do it. And that's really good because I feel all people's energy combined and it, yes, connects with the universe much faster than we do it alone. So
Thank you.
I have heard you first time. I've always seen you, in the groups, but I've never heard you. This is the first time, and it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is anybody else?
So your narration was so powerful. We could just visualize every situation and we could just visualize what was happening. And we had goosebumps. I think most of us had goosebumps listening to the incident, to the timing when you said 2 a.m., 5 a.m. and it was like, oh my God, it was wonderful. I mean, it was really like very awakening. Thank you so much, Dada.
Thank you.
Okay. So shall we go on to our next storyteller of the day, Debjani Bhaduri from Chennai. So Deb's, that's her pet name. We call her Deb's. And personally, I call her drama queen. Because when she enacts out stories, it's just amazing. You don't want to move your eyes from her face, the facial expressions. I can compare it with Madhuri Dixit, Devjani. So the story which she's bringing today is When the Cow's Horn Turns Blue. This is an Indian folk tale beautifully interwoven with her personal experience, and it reminds us of how old wisdom often mirrors modern emotions. Over to you, Debjani.
You got it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheettal. Well, sorry, friends. Right now, my throat, my voice is not in my favor. Probably the stars are not also because the hand is broken too.
Oh my God.
Okay. So thank you, Dada, for reminding me about the power of this prayer. And I will be doing it more and not listen to those who are saying the stars are not in my favor now. Okay. Well, without further ado, let me go straight into my story. As Sheetal said, it's a folk tale from India and interwoven with my personal experience. Once upon a time, there lived an elderly couple in a village. Uncle Ji, Auntie Ji. Uncle Ji was always seen with a thick, fat glasses and a thick, fat book. He used to read. That was his love of life. Well, it would not be appropriate to say that he was always seen reading, but definitely he always tried to read. Why he tried and could not? The reason was his wife, our Auntie Ji. Because just as Uncle Ji's passion was reading, Auntie Ji's passion was talking. And she used to talk in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the... Yes, dear friends, I'm not exaggerating. From a trusted source, we got to know that Auntie Ji would talk and mumble something even during the night, during her sleep. Compulsive disorder. So, well, things were going on like this. One day, Auntie Ji, while doing puja, and Uncle Ji was reading some newspaper, a book as usual. Auntie Ji told him, why you are always bringing some rotten stuff from the market? You don't have a skill to buy vegetables and fruits? That was the response of Uncle Ji. Oh, I asked you to go and press and squeeze and try to see what are fresh and then buy. But no, your mind is not at all on the things that you are buying. Only reading. What? Give a proper answer. And why are you sitting there when I'm doing a puja? You should come here and sit beside me and do puja along with me. This is the age when we should be more spiritual. Okay? Learn from me how I am devotional, how I am, concentrating on my puja. Oh. Anyways, with lots of devotion and concentration, a little bit of conversation, our Auntie Ji completed her morning ritual of puja. And then she said, oh, now finally I can talk. That was the response of Uncle Ji again, as if she was not talking all the while. Anyways, Auntie Ji didn't hear that, thank God. But Auntie Ji brought a cup of tea and said, do you know what happened? Hi, what a tragedy it was. Tragedy? What tragedy? Hare Ghosh Babu, Mr. Ghosh, who lives just down this lane. Yeah. Oh, ho, ho, what a tragedy at this age. I mean, at this age. Uncle Ji was now serious. He left the book, the newspaper, what he was reading, said, Ghosh Babu passed away? Oh, that's really a tragedy. Did I say Ghosh Babu passed away? I was about to say Mr. Ghosh's son-in-law. What? Mr. Ghosh's son-in-law passed away? That's really whoa. Allow me to complete. You are talking all the while. Me talking? Yes, you. You are not allowing me to complete. I was about to say Mr. Ghosh's son-in-law's sister is not well. Oh. But isn't that a tragedy? I mean, could be, but we don't know her, no. So what? You don't know, that's why it's not a tragedy? Huh? As if you know everybody in this world? Blah, 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 blah. Auntie Ji continued and continued and continued. But something different happened that day. For the first time, we don't know how, Uncle Ji, in his lifetime, for the first time, got some courage. Probably the spirit of Subhash Chandra Bose, the great national freedom fighter. Yes, entered into Uncle Ji's soul and he revolted. He said, stop! For a few seconds, there was silence, complete silence. Auntie Ji was shell-shocked. And after that, there was an explosion. Not an explosion of, ammunition or bomb or something. No, it was an explosion of tears. What do I do? Huh? What do I do? I don't even have any demand. I don't ask for anything. Neither jewelry nor saris, nothing. Only I talk 2 words. Just 2-3 words in a day. That too, he was so against it. Oh. All right. I'm promising I will not talk till our cow's horns turn blue. After blurting it out, Auntie Ji realized what mistake she has done. And our Uncle Ji was just dancing with excitement. Oh, till our cow's horns turn blue. That's never going to happen in your lifetime. That means my ears will have peace. My mind will have peace. I will be able finally to concentrate. But here Auntie Ji was crying inside. What have I told? Cow's horns will never turn blue. That means I will not be able to speak. Oh. And all the words, all the gossips were just bubbling inside her stomach. Good. But no, she had given words. So she had to keep quiet. Days were passing. Auntie Ji was apparently keeping quiet. And the words were all dancing, fighting inside her tummy. And here Uncle Ji was reading peacefully, finally. Well, after a few days, Auntie Ji understood it was beyond her power to remain quiet. So she had to use something else. Sham, dam, dand, ved, anything is fair in love and war. And this is love and war both. So she had every right to do this. So that night, that particular night I'm talking about, she woke up in the middle of the night, went to the washroom, took a bucket of water, mixed some indigo, and she went out, stealthily tiptoed to the cowshed. And she was about to lift it up, the bucket of indigo water, and throw onto the cow when, she paused. Because she found the shadow of a figure. Yes, a human figure, another human figure. At this point in night, no, this must be then a ghost. Who is there? Somehow she could utter just this question. And then, her jaw dropped. Guess what? There was no ghost at all. It was Uncle Ji with, yes, a bucket of indigo water. You? Why are you here standing? Why are you standing here? I have to, indigo water to pour on our cows' horns, to turn so that I can speak. I also, with the indigo water, to splash on our cows' horns so that you can speak. Huh? But you, why? You never liked my talking, yapping, you say, and you shouted at me. That was that day. But now, when you are quiet, the house doesn't seem to be cheerful at all. I cannot concentrate without your words on the book. My life has become so dry without your words. So I need you to speak. But really, oh. And Uncle Ji just put his hand around Auntie Ji, and both of them laughed and laughed and laughed and got inside the house. So in the middle of the night, that spark of love, unspoken love that was there in between them was once again reignited, and they just felt that same warmth as they used to feel during their youth and entered into the house. The story ended there. And then my mind drifted away from the book, from the story, from Chennai, to far, far away in the eastern part of our country, where we have the holy river Ganges flowing. And beside that holy river Ganges, we have a thriving, hugely crowded city called Kolkata. But my mind didn't stop there. It was meandering along with the meandering river Ganges, took turns and twists, and stopped at a small, not so colorful, not so busy, small place, the outskirt of the busy city of Calcutta. And in that place, there lived Mr. Mukherjee and Mrs. Mukherjee, again an elderly couple. Mr. Mukherjee's ruling passion of life were two: books and cricket. Cricket and books. But Mrs. Mukherjee, bubbly, chatterbox, you can say, and all the while, sometimes childish, sometimes childlike, she would be just busy creating her human connections. Yes, because she felt in life, the most important thing is creating connections, bridging the gap between humans. And her clients or her companions' age ranged from, toothless babies to toothless grannies. That was the range. Yeah. And sometimes you could also see that young girls, in their 20s, would come and seek Mrs. Mukherjee's advice about certain problems they were facing with their boyfriends. Yes, she would, with all undivided attention, try to solve their issues immediately, which, annoyed Mr. Mukherjee like anything. Why are you always interested in such mundane things? Huh? This is the age when you should be trying to be deep and philosophical. I don't care. That was her patent answer. You keep your nose inside the books or inside the cricket. I don't care. I will always be serving my people. Yeah. Any social worker, any municipality, the community workers, any child in that area, anybody, whoever was in need, knew where to go. The go-to person was Mrs. Mukherjee. They would come, the doors would always be open. They would come in and say, Auntie, water. Auntie, sweets. Auntie, we're feeling hungry. Some snacks, some biscuits. And Mrs. Mukherjee with a fake smile would say, sure, dear, here it is for you. So what is going on in your life? As a result, sometimes the curries would be little burnt. The rice might remain a little uncooked. And Mr. Mukherjee would be, oh, you and your mundane works. See, look at this. Try to adjust. Didn't you see that girl was in trouble? And did you see that the boy came here so much thirsty? Didn't you see this municipality workers? They are roaming from house to house doing so much hard work. Somebody should be giving them water and something to eat, right? Yes, right indeed. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Bhola's this time had got such a huge produce of mangoes. But then his father is such a bad man, I say. This municipality workers asked for a few mangoes. He denied. They should not be done. And she used to go on and on and on. And Mr. Mukherjee would say, thank God, wherever you are. You have given me 2 years. One to go in and one to allow to go out. Ugh. Such was their bonding. Sometimes they would say, always discord at home. Because you are different. Because you are different. Until that night, when she understood that Mr. Mukherjee is having fever for no reason. And she started calling all her human connections. Yes, all her known people. Your uncle is having fever. Your uncle is having fever. But there is no apparent reason. Why? I'm feeling so tensed. Because if in the middle of the night, if anything happens, and everybody said, it's okay, auntie, just a paracetamol will do. But then I need you all to remain alert. I can call you in any time, the middle of the night, okay? If the situation becomes a little difficult for me. So, okay, no problem. Finally, around 10 o'clock, she called one girl from the next door house, the next house. She called and she said, listen, I've got an idea. You take the keys and the lock. You lock our house. Lock your house, auntie? Yes, lock the house from outside and take the keys with you. In the middle of the night, if your uncle's health deteriorates, I will just give you a call, okay? You come, rush immediately, open the lock and come in and just do whatever is needful. Help us, okay? The girl said, All right, auntie, if that satisfies you, I'll do that. She locked the door. She took the keys and went inside. Time passed. In the middle of the night, she received a call. Yes, she received a call. And she rushed out. Her husband too. They opened the door and they almost stormed inside the house. What they found? Mr. Mukherjee helplessly sitting on the bed and Mrs. Mukherjee lying down on the floor. What? What happened to auntie? All the while, auntie was talking to us, everyone, over phone. What happened? Mr. Mukherjee said, I don't know. I just saw her lying on the floor, mumbling something. They immediately lifted her up. She was sweating profusely. Her face was completely dark. And 2 minutes, immediately they called the ambulance. But by then, life, so-called life, the spirit inside, left Mrs. Mukherjee. She passed away from this world, just worrying about that husband who was good for nothing, always the nose dived deep into the books, who never cared about her wishes. But she always worried about him. Well, 1 or 2 months passed. Mr. Mukherjee started feeling unwell. This disease, this problem, that health problem. Doctors were coming in and out. Medicines and medicines. More caregivers, more hospitalization. More and more recently, all the modern, equipments, all modern medical equipments were used to give him some comfort. Nothing was working on him. She was all the while saying, my wife used to take such good care of me, Really, uncle? I mean, often he used to complain about the food, half cooked, a little less cooked, little burnt. Oh, those are the regular things that can happen at this age, But her recipes, her delicious Hasan or this or that, wonderful, wonderful. None of you can replicate her. None of you. Often, he used to call her also. Are you there? Are you seeing how much I am suffering? Huh? Why you left me? You were not perfect at all. That's why you left me here, suffering like this. And with tears rolling down his eyes, suffering internally, also somewhere physically as well. Just few months, 7, 8 months later, Mr. Mukherjee, all on a sudden, chanting, because he believed he was very spiritual, like our Dada. He kept chanting and chanting and chanting something that he used to call Abhyas Yoga, that is practice yoga. If you keep chanting always, it will go deeper into your subconscious. And when you are not aware, you are in that transcendental state, passing from here to there, your mind will still keep chanting. And that's what happened that day, 25th of September, when he chanting and chanting and chanting, sitting there, left this world forever. She left for him, worried about him, and he left just because he was mourning for her passing away. He could not live long without her. Yet there was no romantic exaggeration, overrated gestures between them. Just an unspoken bond that was inextricably linked between these two elderly persons, Mr. Mukherjee, Mrs. Mukherjee. And here I am, their only child, their daughter, Debjani. Love you, my Baba and Ma. Wherever you are, may your love grow and keep growing. And bless me that I can also have this human connection with everyone. That was my humble presentation about my parents.
That's amazing, Debjani. Superb, superb. In fact, my first question I was thinking that where is that personal connection in the story? And I was amazed when you told that this was about your parents. It was just amazing. Thank you so much for this beautiful tale.
Sorry,
Yes.
I'm still trying to cope with this loss. As I said, I'm the only child. So it will take time for me to come back completely to my own self. Praying. But I'm happy that Eric gave me this opportunity to present it before you. I would like to take your thoughts.
Yes, Lalita.
No, Debjani, I'm sure you'll have the strength to overcome this, and you'll only have fond memories of your parents. They say now opposites attract. So your parents were totally opposite, but the love between them was something very beautiful. And I think you just cherish that, and definitely they are watching over you. And really beautiful, Debjani. And somewhere towards the end, I understood you were talking about your parents because I know that you've lost your father recently after your mother passed away. Anyway, keep strong, Debjani, and thank you so much for that beautiful story. Thank you.
May I jump in?
Please.
This is Barry. I'm driving, so I'm
Yeah,
on my way to
Barry,
work.
please.
But Debjani, I want to say thank you for both of those stories and how they work together so nicely, and they're both wonderful stories about kind of the complexity of love and how people pair up and people find each other. And as Lalita said, opposites attract. And I just love the twist in the first story that they both realized that they couldn't live without the thing that they thought was plaguing them, her constant talking. And it reminds me of a story that if you haven't found it yet, and I don't know, I know you well enough, but I don't know if you tell stories from other places, but there's a wonderful Ecuadorian tale that is about a married couple. And it's a story I get a lot of mileage out of. And it's either called 5 Eggs or 3 for You, 2 for Me. And I think,
Yeah. We have a Indian version also.
oh, okay. Well, it seems like it would be right up your alley.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you. I'll try that also.
Yeah. And thank you again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yes, so Debjani, one question. If you had to change something here, what would that be?
In this story? I don't
Yes.
know. For me, they were perfect because I'm the daughter. I enjoyed the conflict between them, which for me was very childish. Sometimes you fight just like my daughter also doesn't fight like you do. She is more matured than you. I cannot expect my mother to become matured because I loved her childishness, her fondness for saris, jewelries, even at that age, and even saying that, you gave the sari so late. The festival is just around the corner. How can I get my matching blouse ready by now? You should have been thoughtful about it. So I miss those childlike words of my mother. And my father would give quotations from anywhere and everywhere, which sometimes becomes, oh, too much. It will go beyond my head. So to change, yeah, my father should be less intellectual.
So should I say you are like your mother?
I'm like my mother. Oh, could be. I'm a mix of both, I think. Yeah, Anis.
So next time she's definitely like her mother.
Thank you, Debjani. As Sheettal pointed out, yeah, the acting bit was amazing. I haven't met you in person, haven't heard you much, but I have a feeling that your sense of comic timing also comes from watching your mom and dad, because they always say that your children, because there's that contrast that is very important for comedy. And we always say that our children are watching us constantly, right? They take so much from us. So it was not violent, but that contradiction was, yeah. I was just imagining that in my head as I was listening to you. And yeah, bless your parents, and I hope they're always watching over you, and you will come out of, yeah, this too shall pass.
She has
Take
filtered out the besties from the parents and taken. Yes, anybody else? Okay. So shall we move on to our next teller? Okay. So thank you so much once again, Debjani, for this beautiful story. And we are coming up to our next storyteller, Veena Parveen Hasan from Guwahati. And she is going to present a Russian folk tale, The Snow Child, a story that touches the heart about creation, love, and the fragility of human emotions. Over to you, Veena.
Thank you, Sheettal. Thank you, Sheettal. Am I audible?
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lalitha, Dada, and Debjani for gifting such wonderful, heartwarming stories. Each and every story was so powerful and inspiring. Thank you so much. So, without any further ado, I'd love to start my story. I'd just like to ask all of you at the beginning of my story, have you ever felt that at a time in life you wanted something very deeply from your heart, but you were not able to get it, in spite of dreaming about it at times? Have you ever thought, but you didn't get it? But unexpectedly, all of a sudden, it's suddenly like magic, it falls in your lap. Has it ever happened to you? Well, today I'm going to tell you a Russian folktale. It has many adaptations, a lot of versions, but I thought of taking this version, and I heard this from David Heathfield. The story touched me because it faces the harsh realities of life. Life is so unpredictable. You never know what you have to face. So here goes. Once upon a time, not twice, not thrice, but once upon a time, there was an old couple who longed for a child. They looked everywhere and they saw everybody had a child, but they didn't have a child. If we could only have a child of our own and hold her and hug her. The mother wanted a girl. She desperately wanted. She used to dream about having a girl in her arms, and one day when she grows up to be her friend. But as time passed, they grew older, and every time the mother grew sadder and sadder. Looking at the children out in the village, she used to often think, why God has been so unkind to us. We don't have children, So it so happened one night in the midwinter, the snow at that part in central Russia, the Urals, it was very cold, bitter cold. They had to live a very hard life, as it is. They were an old couple. They had to do everything on their own. Life was very hard. But in spite of them, both of them as a couple was happy. But this was the only thing which disturbed them a lot. They desperately wanted a daughter of their own. So in the mid-winter, the longest days and the shortest nights, unknowingly, as if by magic or automatic, this old lady went out in the dark. She put her hands in the pile of snow. She formed a sort of pile, she took it in a pile. She just gathered the snow. And without knowing what she was doing, she tried to carve. And she made a ball. Then she made a body. And then slowly, she was a very clever and hardworking woman. She had clever fingers. So with her fingers, she crafted dainty fingers, the feet, the body, the features, the hair, and everything. Oh my God, she crafted a snow child, a child of her dreams. She was so happy. She didn't know what to do. She wanted to hug her, but she just waited. She saw it was very cold, and she came inside. She slept. Early the next morning, at the first light, she heard a beautiful, light, tinkling laughter. She woke up. She went to the window, and in the distance, she saw the girl that she had crafted at night becoming alive at night. She was jumping, she was leaping, she was singing, running through the snow. Oh, such a beautiful moment. Her own daughter was so happy running around. Suddenly she saw her daughter come near her window. Mama! And this old lady rushed out of the door. Send my daughter! And she rushed into her arms. The mother hugged her so tight. Husband, come here. We have a daughter. We have a daughter. And the husband comes out. He's amazed. Our dreams have come true. And she rushes out, holding the snow girl in her hands, going across the village and introducing to everybody. Come here, everybody, my dear friends. I have a daughter. This is my daughter, my beautiful daughter. Just look at her. How beautiful, how pretty she looks. And everybody is so happy. We are so happy for you. And the days passed. They were so happy. The couple sang songs, and her father told her stories. How the days passed, they didn't know. Every day in the morning, the snow girl rushed out in the snow. She soon became the darling of the village. All the children in the village loved her. She was the reason for the laughter, the reason for playing games. She was the one who took the initiative of doing everything together. She showed them how to make beautiful snow castles, how to make beautiful reindeers, to make flowers. Everybody loved her. As I told you, she was the darling of the village. Soon, winter was passing by, and the first thaw started. The snow melted. There was warmth in the air from the south. In this part of Russia, they have a celebration. They celebrate spring. And to celebrate spring, they invite all the people of the village. They gather together in a circle and they light up a fire. And they sing, they dance. It's a happy moment. It's a beautiful moment. Everybody just waits for this. And mother and father, very happily, holding this now daughter, in the hands. Come on, let's go for the celebration. And they walk towards the fire, which is lit in the middle of the village. And all the parents, the grandparents, the children, they all come out happy and excited to welcome spring. And you may repeat after me by keeping your mics on mute. They started chanting a beautiful song. Run with laughter, jump with joy, every boy and every girl. Run with laughter, jump with joy, every boy and every girl. Run with laughter, jump with joy, every boy and every girl. So like this, all the children lined up, and the oldest in the group stood first. The flames of the fire went up like that. It was a happy moment. Everybody was singing and jumping and singing. The parents, the grandparents, such a wonderful moment. And the snow girl was sitting and holding her mother's shawl tight and sitting and watching what was happening. And then one by one, as the chanting became louder and louder and louder, run with laughter, jump with joy, every boy and every girl. Run with laughter, jump with joy, every boy and every girl. The oldest boy started running through the snow and leapt high up over the fire. The next and the next, a girl, a boy, and the next. And it went on, the chanting, the singing, the dancing. Everybody was so happy. Everybody was smiling and welcoming a new life, the festival. The new season, spring, once again. Then, all by all the children had done that, and the mother looked. The mother looked at the child and said, "My dear daughter, it's your turn now. You have to go." "But mommy, I don't want to go. I want to remain with you." She held her mother's shawl tight. The mother looked at her. "You're part of the village. Everybody loves you. But you have to go, my darling. Come on, you're so light. I'm sure you're going to leap the highest over the flames." The girl just looked at her mother like that. She looked at the mother and smiled. And she ran as fast as she could through the snow, over the flames of the fire. If you have not heard the story, I'm sure you must have understood by now what would happen. Poof! Just like that, the girl disappeared. She just disappeared like vapor. There was nothing. There was an eerie silence. Everybody was stunned and shocked. Nobody could understand actually what was happening. Such a happy moment, singing, dancing, all smiling and happy faces. Then suddenly, this girl is not there anymore. Everybody looked at the couple. The flames went down slowly. The elders, the adults, just looked at the old couple. "Sorry. We are very sorry." The old couple stood like a statue, thinking what happened suddenly. The mother felt very guilty. My daughter didn't want to go over the flames. She didn't want to jump, but I forced her. That guilt feeling in her killed her literally. What did I do? I made my daughter disappear myself. She couldn't say anything. She was just like a statue. And all the people, one by one, they started putting their heads down, leaving, just coming to them and say, "Sorry, we are very sorry." The husband held his wife and hugged. She started crying uncontrollably. She couldn't keep her tears. She hugged her husband tight. Slowly, her husband held her. It became dark. Everybody left the scene and led her towards her home. She just slept that night crying, and she took to bed. She wouldn't eat. She wouldn't meet her friends. She just stayed there crying and crying. Days passed. Days passed. Months passed. With that, the season passed. Summer came in. And then came autumn. The leaves began to fall from the trees. The mother was almost on her deathbed. Her husband couldn't make her understand. Her friends, she refused to eat, she refused to talk. She just wouldn't leave her bed. Nobody could do anything for her. After all, she was a mother. She lost her child, the child she was craving throughout her life. She had her, but suddenly she lost her. Then one day, in the midwinters, the beginning of winter, the snow was deep. She suddenly dreamt and she saw her daughter, the snow girl. Mama, I'm with you. You will always remain my mother and I will always be your daughter. Don't cry, Mama. Don't cry. I will always come to you in your dreams and I will always remain your daughter. You will find me in the water that you bathe in the water that you draw from the well, and in every flake of snow, every drop of raindrop, you will find me, and I will always be your daughter. Ah, mother dreamt. She woke up in the morning. Suddenly, she felt very light, as if a huge weight was off from her shoulders. For the first time, she smiled. She smiled at her husband. Her husband hugged her. I am a mother. I am still a mother. We have a daughter. Husband, we still have a daughter. She comes in my dreams. It's winter. Maybe I can see her. She can be alive, I'm sure. But she lived in that hope. She started to eat. She started to do whatever she was doing in her life. Slowly, the people, as life goes on, the children, the neighbors, all forgot about the snow child. But being a mother, being parents, how can they forget the loss of their child? So she always had that in her mind. But she was smiling now because her daughter was in every drop of rain, every snowflake, even in the brook, the bubbling water in the brook, the beautiful pond. She saw her daughter wherever she went. And that was what his life is. Life is so unpredictable. We never know what may happen. But the moments we spend together with our family are the ones we should give 100% to live each and every moment. Life is so precious. We should enjoy the moment. I've ended my story, but I would just like to tell you, can you please capture a moment which had a lasting impact in your minds from my story? Would you write in the chat or would you tell me the moment which had an impact? It may be the beginning of the story, it may be towards the end of the story, or perhaps the middle of the story. One moment. Did you see any colors? Did you feel something? Did it resonate with you? I'd love you to please interact with me and write in the chat which moment had a lasting impact on you. Thank you very much.
That was a beautiful story, Veena. Very heart-touching. So rather than writing on chat, I would say it here that the one thing which resonated with me in the story was we want our children to be perfect in everything, right? And in that race, sometimes we forget that we are losing on the bonds which is there with our children, because we want our children to be perfectionists in everything. So I feel, that did reflect on me while the story you were telling. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? I would really love to hear.
Veena ji, I would love to tell something. Yeah, the last bit resonated with me because as you were telling, no, you will find me here, you will find me there, you will find me in the raindrops, you will find me in the snowflakes, you will find me there. So that's the thing that I am constantly, that message I'm constantly giving to myself right now, that they're here with me, they're here in everything that they have given, they're in my memory. So it is as if you took my words from my mind and reassured me that this is how I will have to keep going on by, feeling their presence in everything that we shared in our shared moments. So that part resonated with me a lot.
Thank you so much. You see, today is a very sad moment for me because just 4 days back, my cousin lost her husband, and we are actually in mourning. But life goes on. I had to tell a story and I had to. So you see, the moments that we spend, we are sort of, and recently there have been so many deaths in the family. My daughter also, her mother-in-law passed away. But we have taken it in a different manner. We are going to celebrate their life. We are not going to be unhappy. The times that they have spent with us, the beautiful moments, we are going to celebrate their life. Each and every day, we are going to talk about the wonderful moments we had, the songs we sang together, the moments we spent together. So that's like, today I was able to come here. And 3 deaths in the family, of late suddenly happened. But today, after meeting all of you and trying to express my story, has made me feel very light, I think, made me feel very good being with all of you in this platform.
Stories have the power to heal.
So true, Sheettal.
Yes. In fact, when we tell story, not only this kind, but even when we tell stories to children, our heart starts feeling lighter with that children's stories too. So we go into a different world when we tell stories. It can be any kind then. Yes, anybody else? Yes, Martha.
I just want to thank you so much, Veena, for your story. It was so heart-touching, and especially the part where you shared at the end about how important each interaction can be, and just to, not take those times for granted with the people that we love, and the things that we cherish with them while they're here on earth with us, and all the places that they have in our hearts. And the opportunity to be able to share about them with people who never got to meet them is such a precious gift. It's like it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you so much, Veena, for that emotionally heart-touching story. So we come to the last storyteller of today, Martha Henslee from Springfield, Missouri. And she is going to tell us Marv's first massage. I'm sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly, Martha. I'm so sorry if I'm not. So a delightful and an insightful personal story that reminds us that growth often comes wrapped in laughter and learning. Over to you, Martha.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfectly fine.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just want to make sure about that.
Yes.
Marge's first massage. Have you ever felt like you were loved, but sort of, the word respect kind of comes to mind as far as, well, she's a sweet little kid, but what is she going to do with her life? She does seem a little bit unanchored. And that would have described me very well as far as growing up and not really knowing what I wanted to do when I, quote, grew up. And my mother was very forbearing about these things. And just when we would ask her about things like that, like what her goals were for us, she wasn't ambitious. She would say, honey, as long as you're happy, that's what I want for you. And that was, those were the words that I can remember my mother saying from very early on. And another one was, everything's going to be all right. When we would come to her with childish woes of one kind or another, she was a very comforting person. She was also very self-reliant. She was both mother and father to my sister Anne and me. Anne's 3 years older, because I'll be talking about her a little bit later. But the reason why I wanted to share this story about Marge, because when I talk about my mother, who passed away in 2007, I love to tell what I call Marge stories. So this particular one is about Marge's first massage. When we were little, growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee, just about in the middle of the United States, we lived very far away from town. We lived 14 miles from the city limits, and we lived on top of a huge hill where we raised Shetland ponies. Now, sometimes people would think, golly, you must have grown up in a child's version of heaven, because it was like animals everywhere. We were like little mountain goats running up and down the really tall hill that we lived on. And pretty much just, the main rule was be home for dinner. It was pretty freeing. And so you can imagine living so far away from town, Mother, AKA Marge, had to really be very efficient about how she ran things, because if you forgot something at the store, it wasn't just a quick little trip around the corner to go get things. So Marge was a list maker, and Marge figured out how to do things so that it was the most efficient way and time saving for her. And later in adult years, if she went away on a trip to help my oldest sister with her family or babysit or new baby coming, it would take 5 people to do what Marge Henslee did. She was on Altar Guild. She babysat for the in-town grandchildren. She allowed herself one morning, lunchtime, to be queen for part of the day with her bridge group. She had people stopping by the house, all different kinds of ways, like some of the other storytellers have shared, folks that just wanted her to listen to them. She was a great friend, and I didn't know any different about, what a great mom I had. I just thought everybody had a mom like Marge. So back in the 50s, we're going to shoot back to Knoxville, Tennessee, where we lived, where there was no air conditioning, and in the summertime, Anne and me both in the bathtub at the same time. And then she would make it a game. She always made everything really interesting. And we would go through all the different songs, like row, row, row your boat, splashing the water. Anne always sat in front and I was always in the back. And she would push the warm water toward me in the back because it got colder back there. And then Mother would lead us in different songs. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a duck, E-I-E-I-O, with a quack quack here and a quack quack there. You kind of get the idea. We had so much fun just having a bath. And then on days when we were going to get our hair washed, there was a whole routine for that as well. First we got the suds, then we got the vinegar rinse to make our hair shiny. And the final was the freezing cold water, because honey, that will close your pores so you don't get sick. Anybody else have that routine, or was I the only one? Anyway, and so then when we would get out, she'd towel us off, and she would have each of us one at a time sit in her lap, and she would clean out our ears with a little Q-tip. And then if it was winter time, she would take another Q-tip and she would put it in a little bit of mentholatum, and she would twirl that Q-tip around each little nostril. And because we really didn't know what menthol was, she would say, "Tell me, is that freezy, freezy cold or really, really hot?" And we would sit there and we'd go, well, trying to figure out if it was hot or cold. And then we would proceed to, speaking for myself, bedtime. Mother would read a book, and then the best part was she would do, on hot Tennessee summer nights, a back rub. She would put alcohol on her hands and she would put it on my back, and then she would take like a children's book and she would wave it over my back for a breeze. And then, that wasn't all. She would put baby powder on her hands and do lovely circles on my back. And the deal was, she made bedtime so great, we didn't get up again until morning. There was no little tiptoeing in, "Mommy, can I have a drink of water?" She took care of it all. And we fell asleep, stayed asleep for hours until it was morning and time to get up and start our new day. But she had routines like that for everything. She drove us to school because there wasn't a bus. And because we were all light sensitive, we would play the game of who wants to be queen of the sneezes. And all we had to do was look at the sun because it would make us sneeze. So these were just the little, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of just all the different ways that she made things so interesting. And she was such a giver. She never really asked that much for herself. And so years later, when I was 30, I decided I became a massage therapist at age 30. And I have been doing this for 41 years now and counting. And I credit Marge with one of the reasons why I became a massage therapist. And so after I moved back home to Missouri, which was where she had relocated, I couldn't wait to give Mother a massage. She'd done all these things for me all my life, had been such a giver for me all my life. I'm like, I was raring to go. "Hey, Mom, would you like a massage? Can I rub your shoulders?" "Oh, no, honey, I'm doing fine. I don't need anything." And that was the answer I got for 2 years. 2 years. "Oh, no, honey, I'm fine. I don't need anything." One day, I was living in town and working at a salon where they had given me their tanning room for my massage therapy office. This was the very first year I was in Springfield doing this. I stopped by Mother's on a Sunday afternoon, and she said, "Oh, honey," she goes, "Oh," when I asked her how she was doing, she said, "Oh, one of the mares," because she had graduated to quarter horses by then, had a very difficult time with a foal. And what that meant was Mother had been literally at 62 years old, sitting near a mare with the help of the vet. She was helping the vet with pulling on a chain every time The mare had a contraction. The chain was wrapped around the front legs near the top of the hoof, so that when the mare's contractions happened and the little foal was coming out, and you could just see the little nostrils out of the placenta a little bit, and they would breathe, and then back into the mare, the feet and nose would go. And so mother was helping the vet by pulling on the chain gently as the mare was trying to have this baby for hours the day before. Marge was sore everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, my back. Oh, my legs. Oh, my arms. I helped the vet yesterday. And just so you know, the mom and baby were fine. It was a successful birth, but it was a lengthy one with a lot of human help. And so here I was. I'm going, now is my chance. Now is it. And I took charge, because I didn't normally, because mother was usually the one that took charge. I said, I'll be right back. And I jumped in my car, dashed to the office, got the folding massage table, brought it back to her house, and I said, I'll just do the part you want. It's not like a regular massage. I said, you just tell me, you're the boss, you're in control, you just tell me what you want. So she was that desperate that she was willing to let me help. And I'll let you help me, which was like the biggest prize that could be had. So I did just the part she wanted, and she griped about how hard the table was, because in those days they weren't really very foamy. But she was desperate, so she let me work with her back, and I did just exactly like I would. I stepped out of the room while she changed clothes, came back in, was my total professional self, and did exactly what she asked. So about an hour later, I stepped back out. She got dressed again, and she came. When she let me back in, she said, "Oh, honey, nothing hurts." She was just completely in disbelief. She could not believe how much better she felt. The next morning, she called me. "Oh, honey, nothing hurts. I can't believe it. There's nothing sore anywhere." And from that time, my mother had a new respect, not just for what I chose to do, for my livelihood, and as such a great humanitarian, when she would do Meals on Wheels or other things, or with her friends, she started telling people, "Oh my gosh, Marty did such a wonderful," she goes, "My daughter, the massage therapist," it's just like a whole different version of things. And one of the things that I realized was Marge was such a giver. For her to feel safe enough, and I say it again, for her to feel safe enough to trust me, to help her, to be that vulnerable and that allowing of help given, it was a beginning of a whole different relationship for us. And so as it was that she got older and she had health issues that took her from this earth, she allowed me to do things based on that one experience that taught her that she could be safe, that she could allow to receive. It was a huge life gift for her and for me. And it, as I say, it changed our relationship forever. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about Marge with you. And as a last something, this is a picture of her with her beloved Missy. That's Marge, who let me give her her first massage. Thank you so much.
That was a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. And I love the way you told also. I mean, the words which you were putting were really powerful, and the way you were telling was extremely, very energetic and good. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Yes,
you. It's such an honor to be able to share about the people that we love. And I
absolutely.
really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, Alistair.
Thank you, Martha, for that beautiful story. You have such a way of telling stories from your heart that really communicates to the listener. I was hanging on your every word and just thinking how wonderful it is to be able to give back whenever you have the opportunity in life. Um, and just such a wonderful way of sharing the intimacy that passed between your mother and you as a child, and also between you and your mother as you were both adults. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Debjani.
Oh, you're on
You
mute.
are muted. You're muted.
Yeah. Am I audible now, Sheettal?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Perfect.
So I just loved it, and Martha, I'm going to steal it from you when you were telling, "Oh, honey," I just loved that way of telling. Every time you just come close to the camera and said, "Oh, honey." I loved it.
Yeah.
No wonder we call her drama queen. She will pick up all the dramas from the story.
There you go. Please pass it on, spread it away, spread it.
I love the story also.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Your telling and all of the tellings tonight have been so clear and direct and warm. It's really it's wonderful.
I feel like all the stories, everybody connected to their real stories. I think that was the powerful connection
Hmm.
because everybody was relating to the real life, right?
Mhm.
So I think that made the powerful connection with everyone.
Hmm. And just on a
So,
simple technical level, all of the tellers paid strong attention to looking into the camera, which gives us that sense of eye contact, which is so important.
yes, that is also very true. Yes, anybody else? Okay. So thank you all. Thank you for this wonderful evening today. So we have journeyed through stories that reminded us, how courage takes many forms. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's bold, and often it's simply about taking one small step forward despite the fear, isn't it? So, to all our tellers, thank you for sharing your truth and your hearts out today. And of course, thank you to the listeners, for holding that space with such a warmth and presence. Because, what would a storyteller do if there are no listeners, isn't it? So you are equally important to us.
And thank you,
So,
Sheettal, for hosting.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Eric. Thank you so
Sheetal.
much. Thank you.